Yo, I still express, but I don't smoke weed or cess. Cause it's known to give a brother brain damage. And brain damage on the mic don't manage nothing but making a sucker and you equal. Don't be another sequel. Express yourself. Do it good. Express yourself. I do it. A lyricist. Yo, Dre is the name for to make something dope on a record. That's what he came for. That was MC Ren coming after Dr. Dre, who was saying what I was. He was doing the lines that I was just saying. One of my favorite songs by NWA, way back in the day, circa who knows what. What was that? 1989 or 90 or so. I don't know when it was. Didn't look it up. Doesn't matter. Not long after that, it was, hey, 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 smoke weed every day. And then you have an album that's called The Chronic, laced with almost every song, probably, mentioning smoking weed. There's a weed leaf on the album cover, CD cover, whatever. And a lot of people have said over the years that this is not coincidental and that this is something planned by certain people in the industry, et cetera, et cetera. We can talk about that later. And just like we can talk about there being other things related to planning and implanting things that help destroy certain people, certain cultures, et cetera, if you want to go along with it, which is easy to go along with things when it comes in a certain package such as entertainment, especially music. Because music is basically trance, helps get people into a trance. And you can manipulate people easier when they're in a trance or hypnotized, et cetera, et cetera. Anyway, I digress. So, but it's always been assumed over the years that this is your brain on drugs and you're doing some amount of damage to your brain and body when you inhale smoke by itself, not to mention particular types of smoke. So that was replaced over the years with the false narrative of it being benign and it's from God, et cetera, et cetera. You know, giving people the excuse that I need it for my this or that, my nerves, my anxiety, et cetera, et cetera. And then we have data, obviously, nowadays that this stuff increases anxiety. I can tell you that, allegedly, from being around it firsthand, shall we say, allegedly. So, and, you know, that's just the data, some of the data, and plenty of other people will tell you this. Plenty of other people have had anxiety attacks or had their first anxiety attacks while smoking certain substances, certain green substances. And, you know, and while I'm thinking about this, you know what else is natural and from God? By the way, it's funny how people suddenly want to play the God card and the natural card, which is the appeal to nature. It's a logical fallacy. If you want to stand on it, and many people stand on it, this is natural, bro. You know what else is natural? I won't show the label here, but fermentation, totally natural, totally from God. This is water. That was water, by the way. So if you refine it and do certain things to it and process it, et cetera, is it still not from God? Because in my other video, my first video, and only one at this point, if I'm not mistaken, is entitled How Weed Didn't Exist Anymore. For the most part, what most people are smoking, again, it's not weed. It is a highly refined, highly crossbred, highly, for the most part, modified due to crossbreeding, selective breeding, et cetera, et cetera. This is not something of God and from God anymore, or from the universe or the earth, if you're a non-believer or whatever else you want to call yourself. No more than corn is maize nowadays, you know, bananas, broccoli, even my beloved okra that I'm about to grow in my backyard. I grow stuff that has been selectively bred and modified to enhance certain qualities and pull back other qualities. And part of what people are experiencing nowadays is something that's way more psychoactive, something way more addicting, due to there being a difference nowadays in the ratio between THC and CBD, as I talked about in my first video. This makes it more addictive with less benefit. So to get those benefits that you actually need from the part of the plant that is beneficial, from the CBD, et cetera, you need to smoke more of it. Also, THC can affect your testosterone, thus your estrogen levels, et cetera, et cetera. High estrogen levels make people bitchy, right? Et cetera, et cetera. Plenty of long-term data suggesting that, long-term consumption, smoke at least, of certain green substances can lead to a higher incidence of brain abnormalities or disease, et cetera, such as Alzheimer's and dementia, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just also I want to point out my main reason, thinking earlier to do this video today was, people nowadays, because it used to be that it was understood, as I was saying earlier, that there's some amount of damage that you accept to when it comes to smoking weed. But nowadays people smoke weed and they think it makes them smarter and that they're now a philosopher and everybody's ready to talk and stand on stuff and spout a bunch of nonsense. And next thing you know, you're in a debate with me on Facebook or Instagram or something, and you're getting destroyed. And this is your brain on drugs. Just because Lil Wayne wrote some cool raps because he was high on this or that, or somebody else or whatever else, or somebody came up with a nice movie script, or Dave Chappelle said something, the appeal to authority, supposedly, right? Just because a handful of people have done some great things, there's extraordinary things that people have experienced, including myself, when on certain substances, allegedly, right? But you pay a price for that, just like you pay a price for other things. There's a trade-off. So I've experienced some amazing things. And I've never done anything besides alcohol and a certain green substance, allegedly. So, just keep this stuff in mind. Y'all be careful out there. And, I really like watching people get irritated because you're low key and high key addicted to drugs and you just don't want to admit it. And if you're not addicted to it, then just stop it for a while. I mean, it's just, it blows me away. And these things are not benign. These circumstances are not benign. And you have a product that's more addictive than it was. I've talked several times about seeing people that I'm close to, that I know well. I'm talking about know well like the back of my hand. And I watch them change and watch them act like a crackhead over their weed and their weed smoke, or, over their weed. And they're fumbling and they're looking and they're pissed off because they don't have any more. And they got to go through hell and high water and move heaven and earth to get one more, sack for the night. And it's ridiculous. So, again, this is just me pointing out stuff that other people are also pointing out. I'm not just making this up. So, again, y'all be careful, because I don't want to sit here again and act like I'm holier than thou. But I know what I see and understand. And when you're on the inside of something, it's harder to accept criticism and to understand what's going on. Just be careful out there, y'all. All right. And if you need to do something all day and being in work environments where people are losing their jobs left and right over this, because you can't even go 4 or 5 hours without it. I mean, we got a problem. You got a lot of young people out there coming up and they can't make it 4 or 5 hours without this stuff, y'all. I'm telling you. But anyway, I digress. Look, y'all be careful. Again, nobody's perfect. Nobody's trying to be perfect. If you can't accept criticism, this is a sign of narcissism. And for people who think I'm overusing the word narcissism or narcissist or any of these other terms, then so be it. Prove me wrong. That's another topic. But anyway, again, peace, love, and light. Y'all just be careful out there. Have a good day, night, whatever it is for you. And enjoy life.